right, welcome to Around the Whiteboard, sponsored by Beyond the Whiteboard. If you go to btwb.com, you can register your affiliate or yourself, and you can have all your programming up there. If you go to the website, they actually have really good videos of all their stuff, and they are probably not going to sponsor the show anymore from January. So if anybody wants to sponsor the show, step in, you can feel free to do it. I was talking to the other yesterday. He was like, yeah, I don't know, man. So if anybody wants to step in, you can feel free. But in the meantime, do go there and like purchase their stuff and whatever, because I have been really supportive for the year, in fairness to them. All right, we've got Angelo DeChico. We've got Seth Page from Seth Jumpship. And we've got Alison Scuds, or A Scuds. We have 3 topics. We have 3, 6, 9 minutes, and then some shorter spells of time to talk about those 3 topics. We're going to kick it off straight away. I've only got 16% on my camera battery, so we're going to kick it off straight away. I forgot to turn it off. I was in such shock after the Caroline Lambre interview that I forgot to turn off my camera. I just walked out of the room. I was just stunned and just like, wow, I'll just leave and won't even lock up. All right, we've got 3 topics. Where will we kick off? Angelo, pick a number between 1 and 3.
3.
Okay. So topic number 1 is, should the games outsource open announcements? So historically, CrossFit Games team have done all of the announcements, and Dave has done most of the announcements. There was like 1 year where he wasn't involved at all, and then there was 1 year where he kind of dished them out. Seth Rollins was involved and other stuff. So my question to you is, should they just outsource them all? So there's going to be presumably 3 announcements this year. Should they outsource them to different media or different groups or different, like, whatever platforms to do it? I need to share my screen so you can see.
Hang on, I need a boundary for this. You're saying outsource it as in like have them do the whole thing, or have somebody else announce it, outsource the announcement, like the actual.
You can read it. You can read it whatever way you want. Okay. I intended it as, all right, Rory, you guys are doing an announcement. Good luck.
Okay, here's the workout. Figured out.
Yeah, we'll tell you the workout Friday afternoon, and you can put it out. Or we'll tell you the workout Tuesday. You can leak it and then officially announce it on Friday. Whatever works, or Thursday. All right, so Angela, you got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Go.
Okay, I think in recent years we've all seen the leaks happen a lot. So the idea of having them outsource it maybe would keep that from happening. I think it would only make it worse. I think they should just make the team small that does it, or I don't know, cut off the excess, go back to the way it was back in the day when, you know, I've heard rumblings of someone told their buddy one time back in the day and he got fired that day. Like the day he told the open announcement, he got fired that day. So if it was that cutthroat like it was back in the day, then I think they shouldn't outsource it. I think that and I think watching the open announcements gives everyone like a nostalgic feel, especially people who've been around a little while, and you can always go back and watch the old ones on YouTube. So comparing how it's grown by the open announcement is a cool little thing you can do, and by outsourcing it, you would ruin that. So that's okay.
Good stuff. All right, Seth, 60 seconds. Time starts now. Go.
I think outsourcing might be a bad idea because of the amount of different details that would go into it. Like who's going to get the rights to stream it? Where is it going to be? Is a third-party media company get that? And how do you choose which third-party media gets to do that? Instead, CrossFit should make a new commitment to a much better and quality open announcement like we've seen back in the day. The blueprint to getting people excited to kick off the season has been done for over a decade. And for whatever reason, they started changing it since 2020, and they've just completely been going downhill since. Maybe Dave Castro is the key, maybe he's not, but in terms of keeping it in-house, building the hype, partnering with other affiliates, and putting these huge productions together that really inspire people to take the full season serious, I do think that CrossFit has the most resources and ability to do it, considering they've done it in the past. So that's what I would say if this was a perfect world. Keep it in-house and make a new commitment to it.
Good stuff. All right, Alison, 60 seconds. Time starts now. Go.
I'm going to go against the grain here and say that they should outsource it. It seems, especially within the last couple seasons, that they don't have a ton of extra cash and resources to put towards these like nice to have things, which they are nice to have. And of course, everybody loves the nostalgia and everything. But I think letting other people come in and kind of like do a different take on it and like blow it up. Maybe they have, better investments that they can spend to do something like pretty epic that the CrossFit HQ hasn't been able to do, while having some sort, obviously leaks aren't cool, but they kind of happen anyways. And like maybe have a system to figure that out where only, one or two people know about it, and then possibly also incorporating Dave or somehow, but just letting these other media companies like do what they do best and really hype it up and blow it up. And I think that could be a unique take on what we've seen before.
Good stuff. All right, Angelo, 20 seconds. Time starts now. Go.
In a perfect world, the leak. I like the perfect. I don't need the time now. In a perfect world, the leaks wouldn't happen, but the leak's gonna happen no matter what. So you got to keep it as small as possible. That's the only way to keep it from happening. So only like 3 or 4 people knowing, and not telling other affiliates.
Good stuff. All right, Seth, 20 seconds. Off you go.
Pushing back on Allison a little bit, saying that CrossFit doesn't have cash. No, the small media companies don't have cash. These little productions don't have any money, and they figure out ways to do it. So with just a little bit of resources that CrossFit could throw to this, they could do 10 times more than what these other, media companies could do. Not to say they wouldn't do a good job, but CrossFit could do the best.
All right, Allison, 20 seconds. Off you go.
Yeah, I think that people could find ways to monetize and profit from these events because they do get a lot of viewership and a lot of people get hyped up about them, whether that's ticket sales or whatever it may be. I think they could figure it out, and open doesn't matter, so leaks are fine.
That was a little bit.
I'm just kidding.
It does create for some
as
good
far as, like,
talking
the competitive
points.
thing,
Okay. God, do I deduct a point for open? Doesn't matter.
It's a hot take. I mean, it does matter. There's obviously more nuance to that statement, and
I just don't know how they'd pick who
I don't
they would
agree
allow.
with leaks.
Who would they choose to allow to do this? Like they would give it to favorites. There'd be other people who are pissed off. There'd be people who don't support it because they're not getting chosen to host it. Like it would just create more problems than I think just making.
Fuck that. People are angry anyway. People are just cross. People are just ticked with everything all the time.
But you want to make it worse? You want to make it worse?
But they're going to be angry anyway. They're going to be angry that fucking Seth Rollins is doing it. You might as well have something else happening. You might as well say
they still have eyes on it though.
Like we might as well just say, all right, this year we're going to do so. Like, okay, all the announcements are going to happen on the CrossFit page anyway, like on the YouTube, right? So
if they did that,
just to stop confusion of like, oh, we're going to have one on Justin LaFranco's Instagram, like, and then one on I'm trying to think Arm & Hammer's Instagram, and I'm just picking people who are gone, and then we're gonna just like like if you spread the focus, it's just gonna be stupid. But if they say, okay, there's all gonna be on the CrossFit page, but we're gonna do one, we're gonna do Dave is gonna do the announcement, and then right after Dave does the announcements, it's an episode of Kill Taylor. Or like we're gonna do Dave does the announcements, and then right after we do it, it's from Cookville, Boz v Rory, like straight away after he does like stuff like that. Like you're talking about nostalgia, like that kind of stuff. I mean, they could do that in house. They could just do it with their own team and say, "Oh, we're doing it. Don't know what the fuck happened to my voice there. We're doing it, and we're just going to do it this way." But I think, I understand what they were trying to do with Seth Rollins, and I understand what they were trying to do with what the fuck is the guy's name with the drink? Jocko. I get it. Like, I understand they were trying to reach a different group of people. It just didn't work. And like, you say that things kind of went sideways from 2020 on. Everybody knows why that happened, and those 2 employees are gone. So now they can go back to doing it the way that they should be done. And then,
will they?
They might. I don't know.
Maybe.
They seem to have their heads screwed on, though. The people that I've kind of encountered seem...
Trying to figure out what CrossFit's going to do next will stress a man out.
It will, but it's all it's all fun and games. All right, Angelo's on 2.5. I liked his passionate take at the start, which like completely goes against what I think should happen, but I still thought it was good. So he gets 2.5. Seth's on 2, Alison's on 2. We've got our next topic. 14% battery. We're okay. Only 2% per question. I'll be fine. All right, Seth, 1 or 2?
2.
You fucking idiot. All right. Should the games focus on global representation or depth of field? So we've got our semifinals. Do we know?
Or
No, we have semifinals, and we know. So there's an online semifinal, and we know there's going to be in-person semifinals, and it hasn't been said where they are. But the general consensus is that there's going to be the likes of Torian French Throwdown, maybe a second one in Europe, maybe a couple in North America, one in South America, one in Africa, and one in Asia. And there's been talk about, should athletes be allowed to travel? Should they have to go to wherever they're, geographically placed or live or whatever? My question is, what should CrossFit do? Should they say to these semifinals, hey, you can bring whoever the fuck you want, we don't care. We want a strong field, so we're going to have 30 athletes. We want the strongest 30 athletes we can possibly get at the games, and that will not happen if we have 3 semifinalists moving on from Asia who are all from Asia. But it could happen if we have 3 semifinalists moving on from Asia, and whoever the fuck wants to can go to Asia and compete. So my question to you is, should they focus on global representation as they have since maybe 2019, or should they focus on depth of field? Seth, you got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Without a question, depth of field is the answer to this. Just getting participation slots for people in other areas because they're not as represented or not as fit, and we want to try to inspire others from that region. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I could attribute this sort of to like the NBA, right? The NBA is the best basketball league in the world, and there are people all over the world who look up to that one thing. They do as well as they can in the sport to progress in their local leagues, then hopefully get drafted at some point from another country. It's not just like the NBA is like, oh, this team has to draft X amount from Europe. This team has to draft somebody from Australia to make sure we have representation. No, we have the best fucking athletes at the top. Everyone can get behind them. We have the best level of competition. We don't just have 12 people competing for a title and another 20-something who suck, who are in there because we had to give them a slot from an area. I want to see the tightest, most competitive field ever. And the only way to do that is to open it up and get the most competitive athletes a shot to get in.
Good stuff. Alison, I muted you because there's a TV or something on the background.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. All right. Alison, you got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Go.
Yeah, I feel like there's really only one correct answer, and it's depth of field. I will say, though, I don't think that it has to be all or nothing. Like, I think that there is a space for global representation, but I think just like Seth said, like the CrossFit Games is the best of the best, and we should be having the best of the best athletes there, no matter where they're from. And especially less spots, 30 spots, like that's not that many people. And so I think that, whether they do something like they did with Sanctionals, where it's just anybody can show up and the best get to go from there, is probably the best thing. Or, alternatively, opening up more spots if they do want to have that global representation like we saw in 2019. Because I think that just, you can kind of have both then. And if it's like, okay, you got to do your, representation.
You're out of time. Being muted probably saved you from trying to make it sound like 2019 was good. All right, Angelo, you've got 60 seconds. Time starts now. Off you go.
Depth of field obviously is the correct answer. I'm not a big DEI guy, so I definitely go against the idea of that. Depth of field, you get the best people there, and they get to compete. Everyone has the same opportunities. Like with online, like anyone who does online programming, we have all these great programmers who put their stuff online and who program and coach overseas, so like it's not impossible for you to get to the games. You have the same opportunity that everyone else has. I understand, like, people have full-time jobs, whatever, and that plays a factor. Families, that plays a factor, but everyone has the same opportunity. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Everyone has access to those things. So you can train to get there. So why make it basically give people more of an option than others? Everyone should be the same. And if you can qualify at the competitions, then you get to go. That's it.
God, you actually sort of made me feel like I could go. We all have the same day. All right, Seth, you got 20 seconds. Time starts now. Off you go.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with what we've been saying. The depth of field is just better all around for everything. The competition, I think, can get skewed a little bit and become boring later in the event if you don't have a deep enough field where the cuts are dramatic and the points are getting shifted around. The more drama, the better in the game. So the better athletes will ensure that.
Because of Allison, off you go.
Yeah, 100% agree. Although I disagree that global representation in sport is the same as DEI, I do think that in this, case where you're finding the fittest on earth, like that just needs to be the only criteria to get people there.
And Angelo, 20 seconds, off you
go. There's not much I need to add to that. I mean, I want to see the best people go to the games, and I want the best show possible at the games. I don't want people to get there easier. I mean, that's the best way to say it. I don't know how else to rebuttal what I've already said.
Just leave that there for a minute.
I love that.
Okay. Let me do up some scores. What did you get? 2. I should what did you get? 6. Just like it's just throw out numbers.
Pedro, you used to give a lot more points in early episodes of the show. You used to be like 4 over there and 5 over there, and now you're like so stingy with your points.
Yeah, I think I want to be like, oh shit. I think I want to be like
He probably found himself like in a pickle on the last round or two, where it's like one guy's just like leading by so much, and then the person who's in last does bad on the last one too. You can't even make it close.
Yeah, no, it's not even about like. Listen, I'm not about DEI either. It's not about fairness of competition or anything. It's just like, I don't know. Sometimes if someone, all right, I'll give you a little insight into my scoring system, right? So Seth got 2.5. Here, I'll get rid of this. Seth got 2.5 for that last round because largely he made all the points first. So just luck that he went first. But then he earned an extra 0.5 point because he talked about cuts at the games and how, like, where is it? Chase said it somewhere. We know who's getting cut first. So he's basically saying, like, if you just let anyone, if you just say, all right, 4 people from Asia and Africa are going just because, it's fair, then what ends up happening is they just get cut first, or they get injured on day one because they're not used to like competing at that level or whatever. And then it's like, oh, cool, that was a waste of a spot. What about like Colton probably could have done a job there. So he got an extra 0.5 point for that. Angelo was going to get 1.5, but then he made the DEI joke and he got a 0.5 point for that. So that's the way it works. Wow. So if someone makes me laugh generally, like if it's on what do you call it, on piece, if it's like to do with what we're talking about and they make me laugh, like I generally give them like 1/4 point, 0.5 point. But yeah, largely it is all arbitrary. Like if someone like Augustus or Tyler or someone went back through all the episodes and tried to come up with a system for the scoring, they'd probably just go insane because there's no logic to it. All right, we've got one last topic. Someone asked, can my camera not work when it's plugged in? So my camera is plugged in and connected to my laptop, and for some reason it can either charge or be used, but it can't do both simultaneously. I don't know why. Wasting battery, yes, both of my camera and my social battery. Please, Augustus, see if you can figure it out, because that would be hilarious to me if you could actually figure it out, because I can't. All right, we've got one last topic. Alison, you're going first on this one. Move over to this, and we've only one topic left. So the general consensus, as I've said, is that there's going to be semifinals in person, and that there's going to be 2 in North America and 2 in Europe. You heard it here last. So my question is that enough? So there's 2 semifinals in North America, 2 semifinals in Europe. Is that enough? Should we have more? Should we have 3? Should we have fucking 12? I don't know. Who cares? But is 2 enough? Alison, you got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Go.
With the current information that we have, I feel like this question is kind of difficult to answer because we don't have any of the details of what does 2 even mean. However, I think as an athlete, my feelings are that 30 spots is not really enough. I wish there was more spots just for more opportunities, exposure, things like that. as far as like the number of events, I think we need to focus less on quantity and more on quality. Like a lot of these events aren't profitable. So how can we think to make the sport more popular so these events can be profitable, so there can be more quality events that are sustainable and not kind of just like one-offs. Yeah, I think there's multi-layers to the number of events, and that just trying to make the sport as popular as we can is the key to getting more.
Good stuff. Just for future reference, 2 is like if you have 1 and then you have another 1. That's what 2 is. Just he said, like, what is 2? That's
well, how many game spots are there like from each one? And
okay.
Like if we have 2 events but 20 people from each one qualify, then yeah, that's enough. But if only 1 person gets to qualify, then 2 is probably not enough. But again, it's without any context, it's hard to make a solid opinion.
All right, Angelo, you got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Okay, my first knee-jerk reaction is no for probably both, but mainly because I don't. This is a viewer thing. I know that they deserved it. Like when they went down to spots 10 and 11, and I think even 12 at the semifinals, those people definitely deserve to go to the games based on how they performed. But it makes it a little bit harder to follow. It would be better to have like 4 or 5 semifinals, and this is assuming you have to go in your region. It's nice to see like the podium. This podium is going. This podium's going like at each event. So there should be probably enough events for the podium to go at all the events, or the winner, something like that. Something that people can digest and understand a lot easier than like say, oh, well, at this one 9 people went, at that one 11 people went, and like, well, why did 9 people go here and 11 people go here, and who's the 7th person there? It's like. It makes it a lot more clean cut when you see the top person or the top 3, and those are your game qualifiers.
Good stuff. 1 people qualify through online comps. There's 1 online semifinal, and then there's in-person semifinals. All right, Seth, 60 seconds. Time starts now. Off you go.
Well, as far as the game season goes, we know that the Open, we have the most amount of participation by far, right? So that's a big deal. We know that the CrossFit Games has the most amount of viewership by far. That's a big deal. Things in the middle have been completely just crushed and lost over the years. So semifinals is just not that exciting for people to watch. They're not tuning in. They're not showing up. So this is enough of a level of events that we can get the right athletes through to get to the right people to the games. Now, if they were going to decide to take it back to like the 2014, 2015 regionals where they had them all over the country and it was an event where it was like your mini Woodstock where all your affiliate members would get in a fucking band and drive 3 hours together and go cheer for your team or your athlete, that would be a completely different experience. But we know we're not going back to that. So with what we have and what we're working with, 2 is going to be plenty. Let's make the events good. Let's make a couple events that we can all tune into instead of having to worry about a bunch of them. Make them watchable, get the right people to the games. Then when we get those athletes to the games, everyone's going to tune back in anyway.
Good stuff. All right, Alison, 20 seconds. Time starts now. Off you go.
Yeah, so 2 + 2 is more than we had last year with only 2 in North America and 1 in Europe, and there's less game spots. So there's more semifinals in theory. And to Angela's point, like I think he's going against what he's saying with strength of field, having different numbers of qualifiers. If they should all be the same, then that's kind of like.
You're out of time, I'm afraid. All right, Angelo, 20 seconds. Time starts now. Off you go.
I think it can be the same thing because if everyone can compete at whatever one they want to go, you're right. The depth of field would be by the end of the semifinal or sanctional season, it may not be as good. So it's hard to say with how everything changed. I have no idea. So I would think the depth of field would be the same, but it would get worse towards the end.
All right, Seth, 20 seconds. Off you go.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with it. Semifinals is the least important part of the season as far as viewership goes and as far as participation goes. These amount of events is more than enough. It'll still get the right athletes to the games, and that's what we're doing. We're creating a funnel system that we can talk about, and we can focus on these fewer events as opposed to a bunch of them and get the right athletes through.
Good stuff. No, we cannot. All right, let's open scores.
You guys know
Oh,
who's
feel-
hosting these events?
Feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
No, I don't know any details.
I didn't even know there was two until
I didn't know that there is
Pedro
two.
told me.
I didn't either.
Oh, I see this right here. I didn't know there
This
was.
is all news.
Is this a guess? This too? Is this a guess, or I know you're in the know?
No, I'm not in the know.
But then it's not.
Do you know something,
Not
Angelo?
Do I?
Do you know?
No, I don't know anything. I just said I thought you were in the. You're always in the know. You Sevon verse people are all in the know.
Oh, I thought
All
no,
this-
the way you said
all
that,
us-
I thought maybe you knew something.
All of us from the orange over have no idea. So that's why we're here. We're hoping we can get the inside news out of you.
No. I think I don't know. I think maybe 2 is enough. I think if they do it, if they do, wait till you see the fucking comments after I say this next word. If they do a third, I think once they find the fittest, and it's a good experience for the athletes and the fans. I mean, what's the harm in having a number 3 or whatever in both regions? That's
Who's
all.
paying
What's the
for it?
harm?
Yeah,
Yeah, like what's
that
wrong with
mean?
having
money.
what's wrong with having a third one?
Nothing. But
Yeah.
why do you need it? Nothing wrong with it, but why do you need it?
Because it's probably
Not-
going to happen.
Not a
Two.
necessity.
I do see the fact of like the deeper you get into this sanctional or semifinal, whatever the hell we're calling them, season, the depth of field to go to the games is going to get worse because I guess you can compete at more, but you already got your invite, so most people are gonna. If you've already got your invite, most people are gonna opt out of not competing. So the longer you go into the season, naturally the depth of field is going to get worse unless you have a competition you're just gung ho to do, and you're like, I know that I can do that one, and the type of programming they do, I'm gonna be able to win that, And I don't know anyone who would do that. It doesn't sound smart.
But also athletes like talk amongst themselves, like who's going to which event, who's going here, who's going there, and they'll plan around just the rumor mill of where different athletes are going to go. They'll strategize that for sure.
hmm
I haven't drank in 5 years. Just FYI. No, I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's your scores. So Angela's on 6.25. He lost quarter of a point, and Alison gained half a point for she basically just pulled the rug out from underneath him a little bit at the end of his last answer. Seth's on 6.5. See, there was logic to that score there in that one. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with semifinals. Arguably 2 is enough. To Alison's points, it depends how many people are going. Is there going to be, if you have 30 people, is there going to be 8 and 7 or something? Or like 4, 4, 4, 3?
I thought it was at least 30 people. Is that wrong? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just
it's
kind of
only
covering
30 people.
No, they did say at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they said at least 30 people.
Well, that's promising then, because I was under the
Could be
impression
90.
that they were going to have the majority of people qualify through the online portion, and then have like a couple one-offs of like, if you win this competition, like sanctionals used to be. So like 20, for example, would qualify from the online portion, and then there'd be 5 or so other ones that one person would get a spot.
It wasn't at least. It was minimum of 30. Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Well, that's actually good to know.
I imagine what they'll do is there'll probably be like 5 from the online semifinals, and then, hang on, 15 to 20 via online. So there's going to be about 10 spots
That's
left.
crazy.
10 to
That
15
sounds
spots
backwards.
left.
So backwards.
And then, well, I guess the bonus is if you're good enough to make it into the top % and get into the online semifinal, then you get the reward of not having to go and put yourself out by for whatever, a week.
Yeah,
In
but
my
we need our viewing pleasure.
Hang on, he's fucking
pleasure.
changed his answer. He's changed his answer every fucking time here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 10 to 15.
Is this just all
And
rumors,
it's all-
or
Big
More or less.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 to 10, 0 to 5. I don't know.
33% to 66%, something
Some
like that.
bracket, some
Somewhere
bracket of
between
5.
1 person and 30 people will qualify from
Whoa,
online.
all caps.
Oh
Whoa.
wow!
Whoa.
I'm just glad he didn't capitalize one word in the middle and not the rest. Because
Tone, Chase. Tone.
Isn't the online after all the in-persons? No. To my knowledge, it's in person, online, in person, in person, in person, in person, in person.
What?
I think the online is
say
the
it like
second.
Okay.
I think there's an in-person competition, then there's an online semi-final, and then there's the rest of the in-person competitions.
Where do you have this info?
Angelo told
He's
me.
in the Sevonverse. They have all this information that they hold, and if
Angelo
you
told me.
scratch and claw to get some, you'll never hear about it. Don't waste your breath.
They're the deep state of CrossFit. We just don't
I
even talk
got
about
you.
it.
Yes,
I
they
got
are.
you.
If you go on my Instagram from a month and a half ago, it's all details. It's like slurred words, what's going to happen. Yeah, in person is April to June, online is May. Yeah. So that's basically what I said, isn't it? And that's available online. Like if you
Yes.
search their information, it's available. Like I'm not just making it up.
Well,
it's a pity we
the
don't-
specificity of there is exactly one event before May 1st through 4th. And then,
Well, I'm guessing, okay, if you have an event in April, it's not going to be on like April 1st. It's going to be fairly close to the other ones, which means it's going to be at the end of April, which means if the online one is May 1st to 4th, it's probably one in-person event, then the online event, then the rest of the in-person events. Nothing is certain. Well, A, because it's CrossFit, and B, because they haven't announced it. But like nothing is certain, but you can kind of look at it and say, all right, logically speaking, there's probably one, then online, then the rest, just because of the timing. If it's April to June, they're not going to have one the first week of April and then have the rest of them in June. It'd be weird.
I'll just wait for a barbell spin to post some graphic on Instagram telling me what the schedule is.
Yeah.
It'll come.
yep.
Hey, did you see that he tweeted Albany, New York yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Weird, right?
That's
all
a
right, thanks for
throwback.
coming.
I don't know.
Thanks for coming, Angelo, Alison, and Seth. Seth, if you can, you're back next week. That's it. Great. If anyone wants to sponsor the show from January, hit me up. Your boy's poor.
Same.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching.